Welcome to the hidden heart of upstate New York, where wild country air meets the fierce pulse of an NFL quarterback's life. This is Josh Allen's private estate, a place where game day fire gives way to quiet lakeside mornings, vintage trucks, and the smell of pine. Today, we're stepping inside the home of Buffalo's Golden Arm, exploring every detail of the retreat that keeps one of football's most powerful players grounded, focused, and free. Long before the stadium lights blazed and cheers rang out, Josh Allen's story began in the quiet cotton fields of Fireball, California. Josh Allen was born on May 21, 1996 in Fireball, a farming town where work began before sunrise and ended only when the last light left the fields. His family's 3,000-acre farm wasn't just land, it was discipline, humility, and the quiet rhythm of persistence. On that soil, Josh learned two things that would define his life. Nothing is given, and everything is earned. At Fireball High School, Allen was not the chosen one. He wasn't the five-star recruit, the prodigy plastered across scouting reports. He was the kid who threw until his shoulder burned, who stayed after practice when no one else did. He played basketball, baseball, and football, not to impress recruiters, but because he loved competition in any form. Yet as the college letters rolled in for others, his mailbox stayed empty. The dreams seemed distant, buried beneath the weight of anonymity. When every door closed, he found another way in. Reedley College, a small junior college in the heart of California, became his proving ground. There, in the dusty heat and under dim Friday night lights, Allen unleashed 285.3 passing yards per game, firing the ball with an energy that demanded attention. And finally, it came not from the powerhouses of college football, but from the University of Wyoming. It was an unlikely pairing, a raw California farm kid and a small program tucked in the mountains. But it was here that Josh Allen's legend began to take shape. His first season ended almost as soon as it began. Broken collarbone, a test of patience for someone who had already waited too long. But in 2016, he returned transformed. Every throw carried the sting of his setbacks and the confidence of redemption. 323 yards, 28 touchdowns, 14 games. And suddenly, the world noticed. Scouts came with questions. Was his arm too wild? His mechanics? Too raw? Allen stayed quiet, letting the game answer for him. When the 2018 NFL Draft arrived, the Buffalo Bills saw what others missed. Potential wrapped in grit. They picked him 7th overall. The NFL tested him hard. His rookie year was a storm. Flashes of brilliance buried under interceptions and growing pains. But like the farm boy who learned to rise at dawn no matter how cold the morning, Allen adapted. Each mistake became a lesson. By 2020, he had evolved into one of the league's most electrifying quarterbacks, leading the Bills to a 13-3 record and their first division title in 25 years. His 4,544 passing yards and 37 touchdowns weren't just stats. They were a statement. The kid who got no scholarships had become the face of a franchise. The seasons that followed only deepened that story. He broke records, shattered defenses, and carried Buffalo on his shoulders. By 2021, he had become one of the most trusted and respected figures in football. A leader defined not by numbers, but by heart. Even as he threw for over 4,000 yards, 3 years in a row with global brands like Nike and Gillette seeking his name, his roots stayed the same, grounded in the quiet strength of Fireball, where it all began. Today, Josh Allen stands at the crossroads of legacy and purpose, the living embodiment of hard work meeting opportunity. Every touchdown, every contract, every square foot of his peaceful upstate New York estate traces back to that cotton farm. To the boy who refused to let the world define his limits, nestled among rolling hills and quiet lakes, his home reflects that same balance. Strength in its structure, calm in its atmosphere, and the unmistakable peace of a man who has finally built his own field of dreams. Upstate New York Estate. Tucked along the quiet back roads of upstate New York, Josh Allen's estate rises like a sanctuary. The meeting point between raw ambition and rural peace, the white facade, framed by trimmed hedges and maple trees, stands as a reminder that even one of football's most electric players craves stillness when the lights fade. Here, behind the gates, the chaos of the gridiron gives way to calm skies. Slow mornings and the rhythm of a man who's found balance. The entrance unfolds into a foyer washed in soft gold tones with sunlight cascading from the tall windows above the staircase. The polished oak steps lead toward an interior that feels both classic and grounded. Not a monument to wealth, but a reflection of home. The living room stretches out beneath clean white crown molding, anchored by plush beige sofas and a dark upright piano. It's a space built for reflection, where Alan can ease into a Sunday morning with music instead of noise. The room breathes warmth. Walls lined with framed paintings, plants catching the morning light, and a soft hum of family life in every corner. Flowing naturally from this calm, the dining room captures the character of traditional American elegance. A long oak table sits beneath a chandelier whose soft amber glow reflects against the recessed ceiling trimmed in burnt orange. Subtle nod to his team's spirit. Every chair, every cabinet, every framed photograph feels like a story preserved. Dinners after hard-fought games, friends gathered for holidays, quiet moments of gratitude. It's not designed to impress. It's designed to belong. The home's heart beats strongest in the sunroom, a space wrapped entirely in glass where nature feels like an extension of the walls. Massive windows frame the emerald lawn and treetops, flooding the room with daylight from dawn till dusk. Soft beige leather chairs face the view, the perfect retreat for coffee and film study. It's easy to picture Alan here, tablet in hand, analyzing plays while his dog rests at his feet. Sunlight tracing the curve of his shoulders. In the corner, a small dining table offers a more intimate rhythm. Breakfast after training, or evening talks that stretch past sunset. Upstairs, the serenity continues. The primary suite opens to the treetops, its double windows drawing in the golden hue of the morning. The bedding patterned in muted earth tones. And the furniture, simple handcrafted wood, reflect a grounded sense of taste. Every detail seems to whisper discipline. The adjoining bathroom is polished and spacious with dual sinks, warm lighting, and an air of understated comfort. Nearby, guest rooms echo that same restraint. Soft carpets, framed photographs, and wide windows that let nature breathe through every wall. One of the rooms doubles as a study, an oak desk, a leather chair, and rows of neatly arranged books. The mind space of a man who's learned that greatness is built in quiet hours, not just game nights. But the true reveal of the estate lies behind the glass doors that open toward the backyard, a space where serenity becomes cinematic. The patio extends beneath a white pergola, its slatted beams casting long dancing shadows across the stone floor. Two lounge chairs face a sapphire pool, their reflection caught in the still water. Around it, manicured bushes and red-tipped maples offer privacy and color, while the breeze from the nearby hills ripples across the surface. In summer, this is Alan's private paradise, a retreat for family barbecues, slow evenings under golden skies and laughter that rolls into the sound of cicadas. In winter, it becomes a scene of snow and silence where the same water freezes under pale sunlight, transforming the yard into a postcard of rural peace. As the sun dips behind the trees and the reflection of the house glows on the pool's surface, you can sense what this place means to him. It's not just property, it's perspective. The boy from Fireball who once threw passes on dusty fields now rests here, not in a castle, but in a haven that feels earned, honest, and entirely his. From the serenity of this upstate estate, we move into another realm of Josh Allen's world. His car collection, where precision meets passion, and every machine carries a piece of his journey. Car collection. The first car in his collection was a Range Rover Sport, a vehicle he loved for its combination of refinement and power. He first drove it through the winding hills outside Orchard Park, his dog Echo in the back seat, and country music playing softly through the Meridian speakers. Under the hood, a turbocharged 3.0L inline-six made about 395 horsepower, accelerating from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 5.66 seconds. Priced at nearly $90,000, It was his choice when he wanted comfort coupled with control. The kind of car that felt as good on a mountain trail as it did on a drive to High Arc Stadium. Then came the Ford F-150 Raptor. Loud, wild, unabashed. Was a car that reminded him of home, of the fields and open skies of Fireball. He took it out after signing with the rookie team deep into the back roads with his childhood friends. With $450 horsepower and $510 feet of torque, the engine sounded like the pulse of freedom. Valued at about $78,000, it was a symbol of energy, youth, an indomitable spirit just like he played on the field. And then there was the Cadillac Escalade, the family yacht and quiet bastion of peace. It was his car for important occasions when he took his family to events or enjoyed a quiet weekend. Inside, the cabin was resplendent with soft leather, digital screens, and the faint scent of pine from his air freshener. As dusk fell, the Escalade glided through the suburban streets of Buffalo, its lights reflecting off the black paint like a mirror, leaving only peace behind. With a value of around $100,000, this is the car of maturity and stability. A place where he temporarily puts aside the noisy world outside to return to being himself. Each car in his garage is not just a means of transportation, but a milestone in the journey of maturity of a young man from Fireball to star of the Buffalo Bills. And along with those cars, Josh Allen's fortune also tells a story of hard work, perseverance, and achievements that speak for themselves. Let's explore the journey behind that wealth. It begins with a number that changed the course of Josh Allen's life: $330 million. In 2025, he signed a 6-year extension with the Buffalo Bills, including $250 million guaranteed. It was not just a record-breaking deal, it was a coronation. It's a once-overlooked kid from Fireball, California, who sent highlight tapes to colleges that never replied had become one of the highest-paid players in the National Football League's history. The ink on that contract didn't just secure his future. It symbolized how far resilience can take a man who refused to quit. But the road to that staggering figure began in 2018 when Buffalo took a chance on him as the 7th overall pick. His rookie deal, modest by his current standards, was worth $21,183,000 over 4 years with a signing bonus of $13,485,000. At that time, every cent felt monumental. He used it to pay off his parents' farm mortgage and quietly promised himself that money would never change his purpose, only magnify it. Then came 2021, the first seismic shift in his financial orbit. The Bills offered a 6-year contract worth $258 million, averaging $43 million annually, making him the second quarterback in league history to earn more than $40 million per season. The moment he signed, $100 million was guaranteed, and a $16,500,000 signing bonus landed directly in his account. Those numbers made headlines, but for Allen, they represented something quieter. Proof that his journey from the junior college, fields of Redley, to the roaring crowds of High Arc Stadium had meaning. His salary has since grown through layered bonuses and incentives tied to victories and performance. By 2025, Josh had already accumulated $120 million in career earnings from the National Football League alone, not counting his next wave of income from endorsement giants. Nike, Pepsi, and New Era turned him into a brand icon. Each campaign was chosen carefully. Allen preferred companies that matched his grounded image: hardworking, authentic, and American to the core. The Nike ad filmed in his hometown fields was not just marketing. It was a tribute to his roots. Off the field, Josh's money works as diligently as he does. Real estate became his quiet passion. In 2023, he bought a modern coastal retreat in Dana Point, California for $7,200,000. A house where ocean winds met, open space, and calm. By 2025, he listed it for $8,500,000, a move that spoke less about profit and more about evolution. His life had shifted toward the tranquility of upstate New York, where his sprawling estate now stands surrounded by lakes and pine. Altogether, Josh Allen's fortune has reached around $70 million in net worth, a number built on faith, fire, and sheer will. And today, that wealth doesn't just sit in the bank. It breathes through the life he's built. From the quiet acres of his upstate estate to every simple drive home after a game. Behind the scenes, Josh Allen turned his focus outward, using his wealth to give back to the communities that fueled his dreams. In 2020, when Josh Allen's grandmother, Patricia, passed away, he was in the middle of a demanding season with the Buffalo Bills. She had been the one who raised him and taught him to believe in kindness. Just days after the sad news, Buffalo fans began donating spontaneously, each contributing $17, the number on Josh's jersey. Within 48 hours, the total surpassed $500,000, and in the following weeks, it climbed beyond $1 million. Josh never expected his grief to ignite such a wave of compassion across the city. From that moment, he and his family established the Patricia Allen Fund, named in her honor to support children at John R. Ohia Children's Hospital in Buffalo. The first donation was used to expand the pediatric recovery unit where doctors and nurses fight every day to save fragile young lives. But Josh didn't stop there. In 2024, he personally contributed $117,000 to launch the 117 Holes for Children's campaign, a charity golf marathon lasting 117 holes. He challenged fans to join in and pledged to match every dollar raised. Within weeks, the event drew thousands of participants and brought in over $400,000 more for the hospital. That same year, Josh introduced Josh's Jacks, a breakfast cereal created in partnership with Wegmans. All proceeds were donated to the Patricia Allen Fund. The blue and white boxes featuring Zeus's smiling face quickly sold out across Buffalo. What made the story even more remarkable was the unity it inspired beyond team lines. After a tough loss, fans of the Kansas City Chiefs began donating $13 each to support Josh's foundation, raising nearly $500,000 in total. In a world often divided by team colors and rivalries, that gesture proved that compassion can transcend competition. To date, the Patricia Allen Fund has raised over $1,100,000. Noesha Children's Hospital has officially named its 10th floor the Patricia Allen Pediatric Recovery Wing, lasting tribute to the woman who planted the seed of kindness in Josh. And through every act of giving, Josh Allen has shown that strength is not only measured in touchdowns, but in compassion. His success has become a bridge, turning pain into purpose, fame into kindness, and loss into legacy. Off the field, his life remains peaceful and simple. A reminder that even the strongest people need balance, family, and everyday moments to find themselves. After years of being in a career, Josh Allen is now entering a new chapter in his life, one filled with warmth and maturity. On May 31st, 2025, he married actress and singer Haley Steinfeld in a private ceremony in California, surrounded only by family and close friends. After the wedding, the couple spent their honeymoon in Hawaii, away from the media noise, where Allen said he never felt so at peace. Since then, his life has become more balanced between intense practices with the Buffalo Bills and quiet evenings with his wife, whom he calls the best friend of my life. While in Buffalo, Allen maintains a simple routine. Every night before a game, they eat together at their favorite Italian restaurant, Monge, a small tradition that feels familiar and blessed. The two often take walks together after dinner, sometimes around Hayek Stadium in the upstate New York twilight. The breaks he once shared help him turn off the player role so that Josh, the normal man, is left by his side. When not training, Allen spends most of his time at home in the Buffalo suburbs. He enjoys making his own coffee in the morning, taking care of his dog, Echo, and FaceTiming his parents in California. His two sisters, Nala and McKenna, and his younger brother Jason, remained his strong spiritual foundation. People who remind him that no matter how much the world praises him, his roots are still in his family. Josh and Haley have also recently started to pay more attention to mental health and balance. He reads books on mindfulness, spends time outdoors, and even tries a short workout each morning. The rare images that fans encounter are no longer Josh Allen with strong throws, but a man in a simple hoodie holding his wife's hand while walking down the street or chatting with her at a small cafe. Friends say that Allen has become calmer and more thoughtful. He is still close to his Buffalo Bills teammates, especially Stephon Diggs and Dawson Knox, often gathering for BBQs or playing golf on weekends. But when he is off the field, he devotes all his energy to his family. Allen once said, "Life made me see that life is not only about football. There are quiet mornings, laughter, and the little things that make me feel like I'm really alive." Today, the image of Josh Allen is not only one of the strongest quarterbacks in the league, but also a man who has found a balance between passion and peace. He's still chasing his championship dream, but inside he's a devoted husband, a loyal son, and a man learning to enjoy the simplest things in life. From a cup of coffee in the morning to a warm handshake with his wife after each match, he savors the ordinary moments. If you also feel that precious change, please leave a comment below about what impressed you most about Josh Allen. Click like and subscribe to join us in discovering more real-life, inspiring stories of the world's top stars.